Maryland's Governor Larry Hogan today lifted the state of emergency for Baltimore. All National Guard and state police have been withdrawn. Joining us tonight, Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clarke. Sheriff, good to have you with us. When you heard that the mayor of Baltimore was asking for a DOJ investigation of a department she has been in charge of for 5 years, what was your reaction?
Embarrassing. She threw the Baltimore police officers, Baltimore's finest, under the bus for her own political expediency. As you indicated, Lou, she's been the mayor since 2010, and she's never given any indication anywhere or to anybody that she's had concerns about patterns and practices within the Baltimore Police Department. She should have first gone to the commissioner and said, I want you, commissioner, to hand me a study within a certain amount of time about some of the pattern and practices of your police department as well that you lead. And she didn't do this. So again, it's a failure of leadership. When you're the mayor of a city, when you're in a position of leadership, and she's never said this, I've never heard this come from her mouth, I'm responsible for what goes on in Baltimore. If there's been any shortcomings, it's on me. She will not do this. She keeps distancing herself. It's the Department of Justice to come in and investigate anything. It should be whether the failure of the Baltimore public schools to educate their children is a civil rights violation. She should be asking the DA to investigate the impact that her stand-down order had on the Baltimore the Baltimore riots. She should be asking the DOJ to come in and investigate the impact of failed liberal urban policies under her leadership and what impact it had on ghetto, or Baltimore's ghetto. We should ask the DOJ to come in and investigate why black-on-black crime is so prevalent in not only the city of Baltimore, but in ghettos throughout the United States. But once again, we get passing the buck. All of the pathologies and maladies of Baltimore's ghettos on the back of the Baltimore Police Department.
It is an extraordinary request by any definition. The Attorney General got to Baltimore. She had reportedly wanted to go to Baltimore last week as things were hot on the streets of Baltimore, and apparently the political office of the White House. She was there, and amongst the things she did while there, and I want to get your opinion of it, Sheriff, she talked to the police folks herself. She talked to policemen, to those who lead the police department, and thanked them. And I have to say, I was impressed with her demeanor, her generous gesture, and the fact that she was recognizing the police department for the very tough jobs they have to do and the job they did. What were your thoughts?
Well, so far so good from Loretta Lynch. She met with both sides. There's nothing wrong with that. That's probably the smart thing to do. I hope she has discipline, though, that her predecessor did not have, to get involved in local policing. This is a further attempt by the federal government to federalize local policing agencies. If they have some problems, it is the responsibility of the mayor to figure this out and to figure out a way forward for the city of Baltimore, not to call in the United States Department of Justice. I wonder if this mayor would have asked the United States Department of Justice to investigate the Baltimore Police Department if John Ashcroft was the Attorney General, or Alberto Gonzalez. And I'll tell you the answer. The answer is no, she wouldn't.
Yeah, and you know, and there is a little history here too. She has also wanted to get past legislation that would have given her greater power over the police department to simply summarily deal with any complaint against a police officer that is failure to faithfully discharge his duty or her duty as an officer. She balked, though, and recanted when someone suggested that there also be the same declaration and penalties for anyone in public office, elected office. Do you think there's anything telling there?
Well, the buck stops with her, but then again, I don't know if that would have been a good idea under her administration, because this has been a failure of leadership from the very beginning. It really starts at the top. I just want to hear from the mayor of Baltimore, her utter these words: any problems that exist in the city of Baltimore are my responsibility, and I'm going to find a way forward to fix it. She will not say that. She continues to point fingers. But the thing that bothers me the most is men and women, the Baltimore police officer has to endure all of this failure of leadership and continues to get the ails the Baltimore ghetto, the failing schools, the kids growing up without fathers, absent fathers. Nobody can find decent jobs, and those are all ideas, and those are all recommendations that have to come from the city of Baltimore administration, not the police department. The police department is the only entity in Baltimore that's protecting black lives in these crime-ravaged neighborhoods. How come they're now and racist, they discriminate when they're the one on there every day trying to improve the lives of other black people? It's inconsistent, Lou.
Sheriff David Clarke, thanks for being with us.
My